Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fandom Fridays, where we basically check out all the fanfics that are not pony related. Why? Because martial art for user does still the 55,000 page behemoth, 55,000 chapter behemoth onto fanfiction, and all his fans really loved it, and he's also done a lot of quick twists and turns that he's really proud of. Seems to have gone over well. But more importantly, right now, he is talking to his anime priest.
Hello, my son. Welcome to your confessional. Please forgive me, anime father, for I have failed. You have failed, son? Failed in what? I've tried to get through life being a cowboy bebop virgin. I wanted to try to avoid it. And have you succeeded?
No, because my cousin made me watch an episode.
Do about 1,000 hail Kenshins and call me in the morning. Thank you, father.
And it's true, guys. I try to avoid Cowboy Bebop. I'll, don't get me wrong. I wasn't thinking it was bad. I knew it was good. I knew everybody was going to say it was good. I knew everybody liked it. And that is the reason why I avoided it. Because I was afraid that the hype backlash was going to happen to me, or for one. Or two, quite frankly, what's the point of enjoying it if there's no surprises anymore? It's like telling me, oh, you should experience this. It's really great. And then proceed to spoil the entire event for me. It's kind of ruins the experience for me. I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm already going to end up having all these thoughts, and it's probably going to correlate with everybody else. I'm like going into something with my own mind and my own ideology, you know? But I watched it, and yes, Cowboy Bebop is good. Yada yada yada. We know that. Blah de blah. But I guess this finally opens the door for me to do some Cowboy Bebop crossovers. And that is why we present to you, here at the Terryberry Memorial Library, a Cowboy Bebop crossover with Ruby, aka Twins, by my I'm a Mortal Soul. Enjoy. Twins, by I'm a Mortal Soul. Chapter 1, Interlude. At the scene, it's a mess. Wooden tables flipped over, beer bottles breaking and glass shattering on the floor. Lights flickered inconsistently to illuminate the setting. It's noon, but the blinds block the light to the bar. These factors didn't stop the two from brawling, however. Both fought hand to hand, trading blows, dodging somewhat lethal hits. One grew irksome with the duel and used his sword to finish things. All this over some altercation on spilled liquor, a trivial matter resulting in severe damages. A bartender attempted to calm things down, but to no avail, forcing himself to call the authorities. Despite the intervention, they continued to wreak havoc inside. Several men attempted to place their hands on both in order to calm down or incapacitate them. The aftermath is said men were on the ground unconscious or writhing in pain. One man literally flew from one side of the bar to the next with a harsh kick to the face. A man with dark brown eyes fought Jeet Kune Do, a style far into the masses here. He dodged and ducked the sword wielder who had been giving him a hard time. No matter how hard either one tried, they couldn't land a direct hit. The Afro fire evades and flexible ability, no chance of winning. However, you can't win on brute force or attacks. The gray-haired fire showed heavy resilience. Hey, damn, you're good. For someone who looks like a commoner, you sure know how to run away. Oh, you're one to talk. I'm fighting unarmed. You expect to give in and get hit by that thing? If I didn't know better, I figure you're sandbagging. You can't always show your hands, or else you lack suspense, no? His opponent chuckles and presses his hair back. Getting a good glance at his foe. I like your attitude, but I'm done playing games. Then the feeling's mutual. The name's Spike, by the way. I introduce myself to those who make me work up a sweat. The sentiment brought another chuckle from the opponent. Crow, that's the last thing you're gonna remember for a while. Along the torch begins to change form, suggesting an increase in intensity. Spike's gaze intensifies as he prepares his foe for what's in store. As the two revved up to cast more blows, the entrance to the bar slams open, Police storing the bar to stop the two from continuing. Damn it! They murmured in a synchronized manner, yielding to the officers, but continued to stare another one down. Metal bars confined the two to inside the same cell, but both are handcuffed to prevent another fight from breaking out. Spike rests his hand underneath his chin, glancing at the wall to waste time. He's uncertain how he's getting out of this. Crow, on the other hand, stares at the ground and away from his inmates as the paperwork being processed. Thinking these handcuffs can stop me. I've had multiple experiences with these things. Trust me, they don't work after the first time. So, you're a criminal then. Crow's thinking lower and lower of his inmate despite the equality in this fight. I don't like to be labeled, pal. I consider myself ubiquitous. So a criminal. Crow found this man a breath of fresh air to his rough past. Whatever floats your boat. I just know these handcuffs can't restrain me. Why? 'Cause you can't break it with your semblance? Other. Question. Do you just have a problem with showing ownership of words, of sentences? I mean, this is basic English. How do you not know to say who is speaking what? Just simply say, Crow said, Spike said. I mean, we know there are two people in here, but it would help to know who is talking where. Just why? This is a decent fic, but God, if the author doesn't know English. You're mistaken. I'm not from here. So you're from a different region? Region? Try planet. At this point, Crow snaps his attention to this intergalactic traveler. You're not from Remnant? No, I'm from vacation. A smirk on his face. It would have been great had you not bumped into me and made me lose my drink. I can rarely find a chance to spend money and enjoy my time. He lies his back and rests his hands behind his head. He is treating the subject lightly, while Crow's finding difficulty in grasping the concept. I understand. Surely I will have been informed of others charting here signs of life. I didn't know there were other humans outside this planet. If you seriously believe that your planet's that special, you're sadly mistaken. The only problem is, well, I got lost here. I didn't even know this planet existed. You don't know? I don't have anything to return to. I burned a lot of bridges. I'm sifting out as a lone wolf supporting myself. What did you do as a living then? Part of a crime syndicate. Some real dark things. Let's just say I know my way around drugs, guns, and protocols. However, this is uncharted territory. What about your past, Mr. 20 Questions? Heh, was a part of a team with my sister, brother-in-law, and another woman who ended up as an eventual fiancée of his. So, your brother-in-law's a womanizer, eh? No push your luck. Much more complicated than that. Sounds like all women, if you ask me. He struck at a smug expression. Both would have been at a platter deal were alive to hear that. Spike opened his eyes to glance at Crows. He knows what loss is, all too well. I'm sorry for your loss, but I've been killed by a certain loved one in the past. I can still remember the gunshots of betrayal. Truth be told, I might not actually be lost. Maybe just finding a reason to get myself killed. His eyes were closed to his images and flashed in his brain, knowing he's a wanted man in certain areas of the world. It was then a silence passed between them. Spike grabbed hold of a cigarette and lighter in his back pocket, dangling the handcuffs around one finger. Crow casts a small theatrics and wonders how he did this without a semblance. Hell, you guys aren't quite as vigilant as you think. His other hand dangled the keys of the cell's there in the handcuffs. I picked up a lot of tricks in my time. A thief is one of them. My opinion of you as a commoner still stands, says the remnant dweller in artist. Rather than use the keys, they seem to use bird force to destroy our steel cuffs. An interesting commoner nonetheless. However, I
can't do anything at this moment. I like this world. It has a very home-like feel. But the rules that apply don't make sense to me. Then again, I don't conform to norms.
Just wait. We'll get out of here.
We?
Yeah. I personally enjoy criminals and commoners, but considering your history, you'll be a very intriguing head to a certain headmaster.
Spike has his legs crossed and puffing the smoke from his cigarette until he squishes it, extinguishing the fire out.
You're gonna need this.
He presents him with 3 rings. They used to be on Crow's hand before the battle.
The intimate sorrows narrows his eyes and just casts the rings back. A thief sounds like a perfect occupation. Sorry.
Right then, the 2 figures walked up to their cell. A woman sporting platinum gold hair, thin-rimmed ganses, and formal attire to uphold her position in that Peking Academy. The other mimics the outfit, wearing a small black blazer and fitted in slacks with a cane. Both glanced at Crow as if bailing him out for the 15th time. When he cast their glances at Spike, they looked in confusion. They read the affidavits and reports on how these two brawled and kept peace with one another.
Long time no see, Crow.
The experienced man speaks formally, cool demeanor ever so present here.
Let's skip the formalities, Osmond.
Another drunken bar fight, Glinda interjects as if to memorandum.
You know me by now. I like to handle my problems to those who are overhead.
Yet this man can pace with you. Speaking of, the headmaster makes a quick remark on the fight before returning to provide attention to the other prisoner. You must be Spike Spiegel from what I've read. Strange. You have no records here on Vale, or Remnant to be exact. Care to explain? He stares intently, prepared to find any discrepancy. If you get any out of this, I'll be more than cooperate, old man. Spike stares straight back with a grin, not wanting to give away any information for free, especially to some old men.
This man lacks our basic understanding of the world. He's no threat. A pest is a perfect definition.
Crow speaks out to give a rundown for Osmond. It just struck his nerve to Spike. Hey, insults are a two-way street, pal. You keep swinging that weapon when all I had was my hands, and you still couldn't touch me. The two began to bicker. I forgot Osmond and Glinda existed. It's like the bar fight all over again. The woman turns to Osmond. The similarities between these two is alarming, don't you think? Alarming? No. He takes a quick sip from his mug and makes another statement. Amusing, yes. I'm more interested in this other fellow. Anyone can be traced at some point, even a birth certificate, yet no records can be uncovered. You think some part of White Fang, or Assistant Melissa? That can be found for speculation. He cites a growing tension farming for the safety of his students and the people of Vale. He continues, unless he explains his reason for being here, he could rot in prison to make it his new home. But that's not an efficient choice. The man sips from his mug before slamming his cane to the ground, snatching the attention of the 2 hot-headed prisoners. Crow, Spike, we have a question for both of you to be answered.
Sir, pal, whatever you say gets me out of here.
Oh, and I guess you'll want to hand these keys back, huh? He turned to the headmaster, hoping to ring connecting the keys together. You should train these guards to be more alert. I'll keep that in mind. After giving his consent, the bars opened, and Crow was given his sword back. Spike, on the other hand, gave the keys back. The guard scrutinized him before snatching it back. Spike followed the trio to Beacon, simply to discuss the events. You can't do anything. You can sneak away and head for a ship, but for what? There's no place to go for him. Maybe playing his cards will give him something worth staying for. In the classroom, Spike stood with his legs kicked up, hands behind his head to make himself comfortable. Crow rested against the wall to play his security. Also hear what he knows. Good and Osmond stood like kings and queens, ruling out any chance of fighting back. Osmond sat and leaned forward to Spike. Who are you? Get a refill some coffee, old man. You're going to be here for a while. An interesting little introduction to a far bigger story. Though, I have to wonder if Spike could really, really dodge Crow, especially considering what we know now about Crow's semblance, and just how skilled Crow is. But it was so fun, short and sweet, and I know there are a few more chapters, but I think this gives you a basic idea. If there's anything I wish the author would improve, it's give the addition of freaking ownership. It's not that hard. You're not writing a script format. Just say who said what.
One down, thousands more to go. See ya next time.